here? Good. All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight, and I hope everybody's enjoying themselves at this event. We're doing things a little different this year. Wanted to show everybody the usefulness of the home fire sprinklers. First and foremost, the first thing I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to actually show you try to dispel the myth of sprinkler systems. As soon as the line gets charged up here, and we actually have water to this sprinkler, I want to show everybody. Typically on TV, everybody watches the movies, and you see everybody in the movies, and they're in trouble, or they're causing trouble, and they want to set off a smoke alarm or a sprinkler system throughout the building to be able to get out of the building, to be able to get people to maybe not recognize they're doing something. So as a general rule, what you see is you see them with smoke. They light something on fire and they'll go up to the sprinkler and they'll do this, and the sprinkler head goes off. Well, as you can see, that doesn't work. But as you can see, it's a little windy. It's kind of tough with the wind, and I apologize. But the smoke alarm, here we go. Okay, as you can see, the head doesn't go off. That's a complete myth. Generally, when you have a fire and you have a sprinkler system, the only sprinkler that's going to go off is the room of the fire. The sprinkler system doesn't set off every single head in the building. It sets off the one single head where the fire is located and extinguishes the fire. So there is water to this. The hose is charged. And the other thing is, you see them with a piece of paper. I have a lighter, and that's probably not going to light tonight. But I can actually, we can grab a torch. It takes 155 degrees to set these off. You'll see in the burn building over here, this one is a sprinklered building. The temperature at the ceiling is going to get about 500 degrees before that sprinkler head actually goes off. But you'll see the difference between the two buildings. And all right. Okay, so we have.
Yeah.
So there's actual fire coming out of there, and it's not setting it off. So the myth of somebody standing under there with a piece of paper, it's not true. It's not how it works. Fire sprinklers will go off only when they're needed, only when they're necessary, and only when things are really on fire. So I'm going to conclude this portion of it, and then I'm going to pass this off to the fire igniter and move these sensitive things out of the way, and then we'll get started on. So what we're going to do, we have two buildings, like I said earlier, side by side. This building here has a sprinkler system in it. The building to the right does not. The building to the right is very similar to your typical home. You'll see the furnishings that are in there. You have your couch in there. You have a TV. You have a lamp, a chair, some pictures on the wall. You also have a fake window back there, but there is we'll picture those as windows. And as soon as Assistant Chief Gayton is all set, we'll get started. We'll actually light this particular room off. This building does not have a sprinkler in it, and we're going to do some timing and see how long it takes for the smoke alarms to go off. We're also going to see how long it takes for the fire to build down, so life is not sustainable in a building like that. So as soon as you're ready, Chief. So we tried to make both of these rooms as similar as possible. All the items in there were donated. It's kind of hard to get 2 couches that look the same and 2 pieces of carpet that look the same and 2 pictures that look the same, but we did the best we could. Both of them have couches, both of them have chairs, both of them have pictures, both of them have the makeshift windows in the back. They have the same plant, and they have TVs, they have a lamp in there. So they're as identical as we could possibly make it. As soon as the fire gets lit, I'm going to set my timer, and we'll see how long things take to get going.
You had me, Amanda. I thought I saw 2.
Now, I want everybody to keep in mind that...
Fire!
We have fire, okay. I want everybody to keep in mind that our volunteer fire department, Assistant Chief Gayton could be sitting home on his couch watching TV. You see, it took 12 seconds for the smoke alarm to go off. So we have, that was very, very quick. From there, as I was saying, for us to receive a phone call, you call 911 after your smoke alarm goes off like that, and you get hopefully get out of the building safely. We typically receive the call and we respond anywhere between 7 and 12 minutes before we're on scene of a fire. Now, as you can see, the smoke is banking down. You get a lot of smoke up in the ceiling there. And I don't know, do we have our thermal imaging camera? Can you tell me the temperature up at the top of the ceiling right now? Okay, we're at 800 degrees at the top of the ceiling right now. At this point, it's very windy, so it's a little bit different than the typical house fire. But you can see the fire is starting. The fire is starting to grow. The smoke is starting to bank down. So it's starting to get closer and closer. At this point, we're 1 minute 19 seconds into the fire, and the only sustainable life that you can have, the only way that you're going to get out of that building and breathe good air, is to be down on the floor. You always hear, get down, get low, crawl, get out. And here we can see all the fire up top. We're 1 minute 40 seconds, 1 minute 42 seconds. Right now, we're at a point where life is not sustainable in this building. At this point, 2 minutes into the fire, everything in that room is completely involved, completely engulfed.
I told you you weren't be this It's okay. Once the thing went pop, I started grabbing your shit.
So as you can see, 2 minutes. Normal response time, the normal response time for a fire department, even a full-time career department, is between 4 and 7 minutes. Volunteer department, you're talking 7 to 12 minutes. Sometimes, depending on the remoteness of the location, you're talking up to 15 minutes before we actually can arrive on scene. We're leaving our homes, we're leaving our places of employment. There's a time delay, from the time you call 911 to the time we actually receive the call. So these are the things that we want everybody to remember. Okay. And the temperature within that room reached 1,100 degrees before the guys went in to actually extinguish that fire. So take a little bit of time here. The guys will actually make sure the fire is completely extinguished and nothing will light back up again. From there, we're going to move on to the next building and light that building on fire. So as you can see, now that things are a little cleared out in there, everything's pretty black. 2 minutes. It took 2 minutes before we had a complete flashover. Everything from the floor to the ceiling catches on fire at that point. And unfortunately, there's no way that anybody could sustain life in a room like that. So the importance of, one of the biggest importances of this type of a scenario is to show you how quickly time passes from the time that the fire actually starts to the time that the smoke detector goes off, and the amount of time that you actually have to be able to get out of your house and be safe. So we were looking at 2 minutes. Might have lost a couple seconds with the ignition because I was a little slow starting. Even if we were 2 minutes and 10 seconds, it's still not an awful lot of time to be able to get out of your house safely. Smoke alarms save lives, there's no question about it. They notify you of the fire. This type of a situation is compartmentized. It's a little bit smaller. Things are a little bit different in your homes, but not an awful lot. We use the same typical type of a couch, the same typical TV, lamps. You know, all this stuff was obtained from people's homes. So the furnishings aren't really that much different than what you have in your home. So the crews are going to switch around and we're going to get ready and light this other fire. My time clock here had 2 minutes and 17 seconds from the start of the evolution to the end of it. I'll reset my clock. As a general rule, when these type of scenarios are done, we actually have a digital clock that everybody can see. And here we're trying to show you the life-saving factors of a residential home fire sprinkler system. Right now, since 1949, since the fire sprinklers have been installed in the state of Maine, there has not been a single death in a fully sprinkled building. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Residential sprinklers are, you know, they do have a cost to them. You know, the difference is you know, whether you have a granite countertop in your home or you have a sprinkler system in your home. The granite countertop sure isn't going to save your life, and the sprinkler system will.
Oh my gosh, birthdays are so much fun!
Just so everyone knows, the person out back igniting the fire is igniting a trash can. This is basically simulating a trash can fire. So there's a trash can back there, has some newspaper in it. They both have equal amounts of newspaper, so they both light off hopefully about the same. The only one difference that I noticed is that the makeshift windows that we have, this one is a little lower than the other one. Short of that, we're pretty close to the same thing. And we have fire in the building. That smoke alarm went off again in 10 seconds. We're at 40 seconds right now. 50 seconds. There you go. The sprinkler activated at 56 seconds. Engine 6, you can go ahead and shut off. You can shut that down. So at 56 seconds, the sprinkler activated, shut off, it put the fire out. And as you can see, there's very minimal damage in there. There'll be water damage, and that's to be expected. Water is very easily cleaned up and vacuumed. Your house is still livable. You can walk back into your house following an event such as this. You can have somebody like ServPro come in and vacuum the water up, maybe replace the carpet, maybe replace a little bit of sheetrock, maybe one piece of furniture, and you're living in your house. Rather than completely losing your house, a single sprinkler system will put the fire out. As soon as it clears, you can see. And the other thing that I didn't point out, the building on the right has sheetrock. The building on the left that is sprinklered, that is just typical particle board, plywood. There's no sheetrock protecting the particle board whatsoever. That burned building, these buildings have been through 4 fires. This is its 5th fire. We didn't repaint it today. We didn't do anything different. So you can see how quickly that sprinkler activated, how useful the sprinkler is, and how little damage there is in that home. Okay. And according to the individual here with the thermal imaging camera, the temperature in that building got about 300 degrees before the fire sprinkler went off. And now it's back at room temperature. So I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. 1, to be here at the Sabattus Fun Fest, and 2, to see our demonstration. All day's worth of work. Takes a very short amount of time to make it all go away. But it's certainly well worth the effort to show everybody the advantages of the sprinkler system. And we'll all be here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to stop by and ask us, and we'll certainly try to help you out. And I'd also like Mr. Dave LaFond, I'd like to thank him for being here. Mr. LaFond is from the National Fire Sprinkler Association, and he drove all the way up here from Holyoke, Massachusetts to come see us today. So thank you all.